Hey guys, it's me and Juanita. We're going to be doing a visitation intake today. This is going to be one that's an example of Adams County. So with that 30-minute time frame, so we're going to try to get through everything, and Juanita's going to pretend to be the visiting parent because the visiting parent is the one that you get consent from. They're the ones agreeing to participate in the service. You don't need to get consent from the child or from whoever the kid's placed with, just the parent. So Juanita. Hey, how's it going? My name's Megan Leafy. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. How's your day gone so far?
I guess okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. What you been up to?
Not a lot. Trying to do everything the court wants me to.
Yeah. Well, good for you, man. You're here, you're doing it. You know, my goal is to help you get your kids back. Here to do visits with you. Have you ever done visitation before?
No.
No? Okay, so today, I hate paperwork, really hate it. I'm just gonna try to get through it though, so that then we can talk about the more important stuff. How long has it been since you saw them last?
7 months.
Oh, wow. Oh man, I'm excited to get these started for you then. That'll be good. Okay. All right, so this is your packet to keep. It just goes over its client information and policies. It goes over everything that you're going to actually sign off on, but this is yours to keep and read over if you ever need a reference back to it. But yeah, and so this, I'm showing you this, guys. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with all the paperwork stuff and just get it done. We'll get it over with. Okay.
Do you know if my dad can come and visit?
So we're actually not allowed to allow anyone else in the visit unless it's on the referral. My referral says it's for you and your daughter.
Okay. Who do I talk to about that?
You could talk to your caseworker about that and see if maybe they could work on that. Unfortunately, I can't make that choice. Yeah. So this is our, first page where we just kind of go over if you were to ever have a complaint or needed to talk to somebody that was not me or my supervisor. This is our director of community programs and her cell number. This is our truancy program supervisor and her cell number. And then this is the name of my clinical consultant and their number. If you ever need to make a complaint or need help with something that you feel like you can't talk to me about, we can work with you on that. So you'll keep this page actually. This page goes over all of my qualifications and stuff like that. And here's the number of my clinical consultant. As a client, you are entitled to information about any of the techniques we use or anything we do. You're entitled to seek a second opinion. You should be aware that in professional relationships, sexual intimacy is never appropriate and should be reported to grievance board. Don't think that's going to be an issue. You're entitled to know the information provided by you is confidential. The clinical social. You're entitled to know the information provided by you during your family session as confidential. The case of social. I think that's just talking about the confidentiality. And as a client, you are able to request your records at any time. Since this is a visit, it'll actually be available to your lawyer and the caseworker and everybody. So everything that happens in the visit is going to be confidential. But those people are going to have access to documents. So they're probably going to know. Yeah, and that page is for you to keep. Okay. And this is, who all actually know, I already have that information. I don't need to go over that, save us both some time. So this is a release of information. Are you familiar with releases of information? Okay. It's basically you authorize that you can select who you want to release the information to and what information needs to be shared. Now, again, since it's a visit, we're not going to be sharing anything with the foster parents or anything about what happened in the visit. Obviously, I can't control what your daughter says to them when she goes home, and you are able to choose what information you want to be released or who we can talk to. But the nature of visitation is that, typically I'll be in communication with the caseworker at least.
But I have to put the caseworker on there.
Well, I mean, technically I can't tell you that you have to, but the caseworker, it might look good for you, just in getting your kids back and stuff. And if she's going to have access to it anyway, you may as well, but ultimately it's up to you. So I'll let you go ahead and fill this out. Great, thank you so much. Caseworker's on there, awesome. And I'll just get your signature right here. Great. Awesome. So this is for telehealth stuff, which is like video FaceTime type thing. So it's not really relevant to what we're doing. So this is the section where we go and initial off of everything. So I'm going to read some parts line by line that are really important to like visitation and just important in general. And the other ones, I'm just going to allow you to read on your own. But if anything doesn't make sense or you're unable to read it for whatever reason, please let me know. I'm happy to help you, okay? So again, this is kind of like the client rights and responsibility packet I gave you, but your rights are, pretty clear. To be treated with respect and dignity, receive services regardless of, race, religion, age, sex, to understand the purpose of services recommended or court ordered, to have client records kept confidential except when a release of information is authorized by law or by the client, able to make a grievance without constraint. As a client, you have the following responsibilities: to abide by the rules and regulations of our agency and respect the rights and property of us, and to participate in the program. Great. Patient discrimination, non-discrimination policy. This is pretty straightforward. We're just not going to discriminate in our services or the information that we provide in debrief time or anything like that. We're just going to be not discriminatory. Any questions on that? Okay. This is our working with minors policy. It just says that we'll be working with you and your child. So do you feel comfortable signing that? Okay, great. Leave of guardian consent. Again, this is not relevant for visitation, but this section is. So refusal of services. So if you receive services that are coercive, or if you just decide you don't want to do services, you have that right. You have the right to make a refusal. Confidentiality policy, we went over this too, but again, what occurs in the visit is going to be confidential. I will not, talk about that to anybody other than writing it in my report and occasional updates to the caseworker. Again, the GAL, all the lawyers involved, and the caseworker have access to the monthly reports that I'm going to write. That just talks about what happened in the visit. But other than that, it's going to, remain within our treatment team. Patient confidential communication. So this is basically, I'll be calling you and texting you sometimes, if that's okay with you. But you can select, where you feel comfortable with me contacting. Okay, your cell phone, great. Written, is it okay for me to leave voicemails? Great. Is it okay for me to text? Great. Written communication, can I mail you something if I need to? Do you not want me to send that written stuff?
I kind of have different homes right now, so.
Okay, cool. We'll just, as long as I can communicate by phone, that's great. Transporting clinical records. So sometimes we do visitation, we're community-based program, meaning I drive around a lot for work. So I usually do everything on my computer or in a notepad, but there is a risk in transporting those records that confidentiality could be breached, but we make every effort to make sure that doesn't happen, keep it behind 2 locks. But this is just making you aware that that's a possibility. So HIPAA, so by initialing and signing this form, you acknowledge that you have received a copy of our policy and privacy rights, which describes how medical information about you may be used and disclosed. You consent to that? Okay, great. Consent to use encrypted email or text. So again, when I text you or we email, that's not always going to be in an encrypted format, which basically is just meaning it's protecting who can open it and who can see it. So, it would, this is just consenting that we'll be texting you and calling you. Okay. Drug policy, this one's pretty important. So if a client or family member is found with drugs or drug paraphernalia on GCC grounds or during a visit, they will be automatically discharged from the program. You have 0 tolerance for the presence of drugs or drug paraphernalia during contact with staff or other families. Welcome on community visitation. If a client has a red card or prescription for controlled substances, it is still expected that these substances are not present while on the property owned by GCC or in the presence of GCC members and staff with who you have contact.
I don't do drugs.
Oh, good. Nice. Yeah, I figured that one wouldn't be a problem. Grievance process. If you want to make a complaint against me or my supervisor, you're more than willing to do so. I hope you don't, but that's okay. Payment policy, that's not relevant for what we're doing. Reasons for discharge. So again, I don't think any of this stuff's going to be a problem. That's just something I have to be really clear about. So abuse or destruction of GCC property, aggressive behavior or verbal abuse directed towards therapist or visit worker, aggressive verbal abuse that any person during a session or a visit, stalking or harassing, inappropriate texting, excessive texting or threatening or anything sexual in nature, in compliance with services, so not following the guidelines, excessive canceling, no-shows, or lack of engagement. Again, I don't think that's going to be an issue. If a client or family misses or cancels 3 sessions in a row, that could be a reason for discharge. For me personally, if you know, again, I don't think it's going to be an issue. You want to see your kid, but if the first time that you no-show or cancel last minute, I'll just put an attendance contract in place. That doesn't mean you're in trouble or anything. It just means that I'm trying to put something in place to make sure these visits keep happening, hold everybody accountable. And if there's some kind of barrier, like if there's a bus issue, or if it's a transportation issue, or something else, or schedule issue, we'll try to work through that.
Okay. What if the buses are running late?
I think that happens a lot with a lot of our visitations. A lot of people rely on the bus transportation, and I think that's great. And I think too, with the bus, you have to just plan for a little bit of extra time. That would be my recommendation, because sometimes the bus is running late, but we will wait 15 minutes. But after 15 minutes, all of our contractors reserve the right to cancel the visit if it's waiting too long. So I'll wait 15 minutes for you. If the bus is running late, but my recommendation would be to really try to plan ahead and give yourself an extra 15 or 30 minutes.
Can I text you to tell you if something's happening?
Yeah, that'd be great. Please do. That'd be awesome. That's our Medicaid things. That's not relevant. That's not relevant. It's our court testimony Medicaid stuff. All right, this is important. So, for core file meetings through the county. In an age-appropriate manner, we will explain to the youth the purpose of supervised or therapeutic visits, maintain a safe and comfortable environment for them to visit with their parents, explain to youth that you, the visitation worker, will be present for all interactions, explain the rules and guidelines to the youth, and I'll explain that agency involvement is for the whole safety and that it's not their fault. If the visitation is occurring at the Griff Center office, I'll give youth a tour of the visitation waiting area. Basically, I'm just going to talk to them kind of a little bit about what this is about and expectations.
Are the foster parents in the visit?
No, the foster parents won't be in the visit. We try to keep that pretty separate. So I'll meet you in one area of the building, and then I'll meet the foster parents who got your daughter in another area. All right, so these ones are really important. So just guidelines for visits. Visits are to start and end on time. Please remember your visit facilitator has approximately 6 or more cases who also want to see their children. Visit locations and activities are coordinated by the parent guardian and the visitation facilitator. Visits are not allowed in amusement parks or swimming pools due to challenges in appropriate supervision. Other locations require approval by our visitation facilitator or the caseworker, who may decline if they feel a location or activity would put your child's safety at risk. So this means it might be hard for us to do stuff like go to a museum or can't go to Elish's. And the reason for that is just that it would be really hard for me to be able to hear and see everything that's going on because it's such a busy place. But there's definitely other fun stuff we can do if we're able to go to the community. The visitation facilitator doesn't provide supplies or age-appropriate materials for your visit. You're required to provide this at all times. If a car seat is forgotten, the visit will be canceled and considered a no-show. Your kid is 8, so they don't need a car seat or anything, so you don't have to worry. No-shows are never made up, no matter what the reason. So if you were to just not show up or cancel, it wouldn't be made up. On the flip side, if a foster parent cancels or your kid is sick, then the visit will be made up. So, or if I cancel, it has to be made up too. This is a good one that we were talking about earlier. Visitors, including extended family, are not allowed in visits without prior written approval by the caseworker. Visitation facilitators are not individual therapists and do not discuss case dynamics. Therefore, any concerns about the case need to be talked about with the caseworker, lawyer, and individual therapist. During visits, parent is to pay for visitation facilitator for all activities requiring admission fees. Again, our stuff is at Adams, so we're not going to have to worry about that. But if we were to go to the community, we just want to be aware. You are not required to purchase food for me or the clinician unless a food purchase is required for admission. That's Usually most places aren't like that these days. Physical, oh wait, okay. Physical discipline of any kind is not permitted during visits. If you feel like this is going to be an issue, or you feel like you might like be on the verge of that, I don't think it's going to be an issue, but I have some parents that say, hey, I'm not doing good right now, I need some help. Please just let me know if you feel that urge coming on in any way, shape, or form, because I can try to help you through that instead of having to end the visit if that happens. Derogatory statements, negative comments, or threats towards children, caregivers, or professionals are not permitted during visitation. Visiting parent may not ask questions of child regarding other parent or caregiver, like the foster parent, where the child lives or attends school. Visiting parent may not relay information or send messages to the other parent or caregivers to the children during visitation. So for example, if I was a visiting parent, I can tell my kid like, hey, tell your foster parents to feed better food, right? Or I couldn't be asking my kid like, what school do you go to? Who's your teacher, right? Again, I don't think it's going to be an issue for us, but we have had parents in the past where those have turned into bad situations. So it's just something we like to be upfront about. If you need to give that parent or caregiver something or talk to them, you can refer to the caseworker on that one. In some cases, the following may be prohibited as determined by the caseworker or facilitator: photography or videotaping for extended periods of physical contact, diapering child or assisting the child in the restroom, bringing gifts, objects, or money for the child. So all of these things are not, so for example, like videotaping or doing photography, something that I really want everybody to be able to do, but unfortunately it's just, we've had more problems with it than goodness come out of it, so it's just something we're not going to be doing at this time. Physical contact, I'll make that call, but quick hug and yeah, this is fine. And then, if there were any gifts, if it was Christmas time, again, that's still up to happen through the caseworker, or money or something like that. But you can definitely take a note of that one with me. Monthly reports. So monthly reports is what I will be like typing and documenting while I'm listening to you guys. They will be submitted to the county that details the content and details of the visit, including your interactions with your daughter and the child's well-being. There's no confidentiality within the therapeutic or supervised visits or between visitation facilitator and clinician and any party involved in the visitation. So again, right, I'm going to try to keep it sacred, right, and not talk to the foster parent about every single thing that happens in the visit, but other people in the case are going to be aware through the monthly reports. Additional visit guidelines, we talked about this earlier, but if you're 15 minutes late, it will be canceled and considered a no-show. If you cancel the visit with less than 24 hours notice, it will be considered a no-show. If you cancel a visit, it will not be made up. If you have had a fever or vomiting 24 hours prior, the visit will be canceled as you're considered contagious, and this visit is canceled and will not be made up. Obviously, if you're super sick like that, we're not gonna, harp on you. If you're sick, right? We just don't want to get sick or get your kids sick. But if that becomes a pattern, right, we're gonna bring attention to that. Never come to a visit intoxicated. If I believe that you are, the visit will be ended and will be considered a no-show, and the caseworker will be notified as well. Griffith Centers reserves the right to discharge a case following 3 no-shows or cancellations. Again, we talked about how I'm going to put that in place, attendance contract, just to make sure it keeps going. So I want you to see your kid, I want them to see you. Every minute that a caregiver is late, the cumulative time needs to be made up. If the child has a fever or vomiting, same thing, so considered contagious, it will be canceled, but will be made up. If transportation is provided, it is the caregiver's responsibility to notify schools, daycares, and other providers that the child will be going with the visitation facilitator. Car seats must be left. Visits are confidential, however, asking about meals and naps are appropriate, so I can talk to them about that. Visits are court ordered, therefore any lack in the Griffith Center's children's part, as well as the caregivers, is a violation of the court order. If you have a problem with the visit, such as concerns about the mental health of the child, you'll need to talk with the caseworker. Do you agree with all that? Any questions? No? Okay. This part, the child transportation off, isn't relevant. And this is our final page, which is just you consenting to being involved in visits and for me to be your visitation facilitator. Great, thanks so much. I'm going to sign as well. Now we just have a quick, I'll skip through this Medicaid stuff because it's not relevant. So this is just something that I have to ask. Has there ever been any suicidal ideation or feeling like you want to hurt yourself in the past for you or for your kid?
Twice.
Twice for you or for your kid?
For me.
For you, okay. When did that happen? You said 2 years ago? Okay. All right. And then what would you describe that as?
I was just really sad, and I didn't have my daughter, so why go on?
Okay. So were those just thoughts, or was that an actual attempt, or?
No, actual attempt.
Actual attempt, okay. And are you set up with a mental health provider right now? Okay, good.
That's why they're gonna let me see her now.
Good, awesome, well, good for you. It sounds like you've done your own personal work to get to this point. It sounds like you've earned it. So that was 2 years ago. I'm gonna mark low for that. And then any medical information that we need to know about. Are you allergic to anything? How medical stuff might come up? Okay. How do I write this on the actual packet? Oops, I have to wipe that out. Sorry. Sorry, Nico. Right. And okay, so this is a little questionnaire. Do you want to fill it out, or do you want me to read it to you and do the questions? Okay, I'll have you fill it out. Great. Thanks so much. Okay, do you have any questions about anything that we talked about today? Okay, let me look at my calendar. Great, it looks like our visitation is going to be on Friday from 12 to 3. We already did our intake, so we're good to go. And then also, I don't know if I explained this in our intake packet, but after visits, typically we take about 30 minutes. We don't have to use the whole time. We do have those 30 minutes to talk about what went well in the visit, and if there was anything that maybe didn't go well or could use like some room for improvement, we go over that too. This is a nurturing parenting book. I'd say the gold standard for visits is, and especially through Adams County, is to complete the whole thing. It's all about safety and keeping your kids safe, which is really what the county wants to see for you to get your daughter back. So I think if we were able to work through that and kind of discuss that during our debrief time, maybe that could be helpful too. What do you think about that?
If I can't say after, can we do it before the visitation?
Yeah, we can. Do you want to try to do it at 11:30? Okay, great. We'll leave those 30 minutes, and should we plan on that each time? Doing the visit before? Okay, great. That'll be a good way to go. And so just, if you feel like you're going to run late or anything like that, just text me and let me know. I'll wait 15 minutes, but yeah, I don't think we'll have any issues, and I'm excited to start working with you guys. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Have a good day. And that's it, folks.